interested in taking you on. Also, that gives you a chance to find out whether you really want to do it. In some cases, I've had students come back and now realise they didn't want to do that particular traineeship or apprenticeship. So it's certainly something to think about if you're interested in doing that. As mentioned, obviously those points go towards your score. What it is there's the ASSNs, such as MEGT or Busy at Work. They organise or oversee for the government between the school, parents, student, employer and the RTA, which is the Registered Training Organisation. So it gets a little complex than all that. But they're also people you can go to, Busy at Work and MEGT, and get information as well. So please come and see Ms Watson or myself, and we can give you lots of information, people that you can contact regarding that. What you have to do is you have to do 375 hours of paid employment, and this is the benefit. Yes, you do get paid, so you get money to go and do your traineeship. Employers will get some funding from the government, depending on the field, but it's certainly something that I would encourage you to consider if that's where you're interested in going. There's also business courses, Cert 3 in business as well. There's lots of different things that you can do. The 375 hours, they've become very strict on, so it does cause some issues, particularly with borders, because you have to obviously stay here to get the hours up. We obviously aim for a day a week out of school, so it's probably 8 hours a week. Sometimes, particularly for borders, we might have to try and do weekends or whatever to catch that up, but certainly it's something to think about. Electrotechnology is 600 hours. I haven't had anyone do that at present, but it's just so you know, there's a commitment in terms of days that you have to be employed. And I'll provide a minimum of 7.5 hours per week, and usually we do that 1 day a week. Look at your timetable, work out a day that suits best for you in terms of your timetable, and usually the employers are pretty good at working through that. This is a really good site, apprenticeship info in queensland.gov.au, so just do a search for apprenticeships in Queensland, they've got a lot of information there. TAFE courses, I'm not going to go through in too much detail, but the TAFE Southwest Queensland website has listed all the school-based TAFE courses. This also is basically their guide for next year, so it's got all the information about what you can do in TAFE next year, what your prerequisites are. Other courses that we do, I know Chris is doing the Downscript Training Cert 1 in construction. That's one that's very popular with our Year 10 students, but Year 11 and 12 students can do that as well, and that works out really well because that's just across the road, a Downscript Training. Aurora, we've had some students work, the Aurora will come here or to another school and students go there. They can do a Cert 2 in telecommunications, tourism, hospitality, kitchen operations. And obviously some of those you can do at TAFE as well. So there's sort of other courses that are available. Here, if you, for example, do industrial tech, you can also do Cert 1 and 2 in furniture making, or Cert 2 in engineering pathways. We've got an agreement with TAA, so students who choose that, or they might be interested in more practical subjects, they can do their industrial tech, but also get those certificate courses as well. Just something to consider. Right, essentially this is getting near the end of the presentation, but is it an orange set pen? I thought it was blue. It is blue. Okay, so I'll just get, I've got it there. I thought I'd change it to blue, but anyway, hopefully it'll come up in a sec. Right. So that's just a TAFE at school. If you go onto the website, that's just what that looks like. I'm just going to get out of that. Student Connect we mentioned before, and that's where your Louis number is needed, so that's what I've got that up for. Oh, I'm going to have to sign in. Okay. Apologies for that. Anyway, we'll just go for it. There's only a few of us, so we can actually just go through the form and I can do that in front of you. So essentially the blue form, if we can get that out, it's fairly straightforward. The first part of it's just putting in the information. Choose after year 10 what you intend to do. Attend and learning options, so if you're going to certificate of education, do individual achievements just if you want to do particular subjects, that just relates to a particular subject. Most students here would do their QCEs, I would think, and that's getting you 20 points. But if you don't get your QCE points up to get that your certificate, you can just get an individual achievement for whatever subjects you passed. So that's what that is. And then obviously AP, overall position, if you wish to go on, but you've got all your other choices there that we've talked about tonight. So it's just a matter of, just as you're discussing, ticking that, and also I've mentioned USQ Head Start courses, so if you're interested in that. What we use this for is particularly as people come to us, because we have a lot of businesses come to us asking for students who want to do this particular thing, so we can put them in touch with students if they're interested. And the TAFE course. So that's the first part. My work experience history, so you students, you need to fill this out. Where did your work experience, number of days, but most important, what work skills you gain from that. Now that will include not only the practical skills, but also working with other people, working with people of different ages. So just think of things that you can put down there for that. The next page is my work preferences. What this is just obviously strongly dislike to strongly like. You just choose which one of those you like. It's similar to what you've already probably done with the My Career Match and those sort of things. So that's just a straightforward circle there. Your career interest areas. Okay, so you've done what we've just done in your classes, you've been working on websites, so you should be able to put in most of those things there. My personal strengths, you've probably got My Career Match. Okay, My Career Match is a guide only, so you might not agree with what's there, but it'll give you an idea of what you can put down for your personal strengths and personal weaknesses, your likes. Okay, this is subjects that you like or vocations that you might be interested in doing, and dislikes, so subjects you maybe not so fussed on. So that's all fine. So it's really important you fill all those out, because that just gives us that information to have a discussion when we meet. Long-term vocational career goals, so it may be go to university, or maybe get a traineeship or start my own business, or whatever it may be. So it's just what you think your long-term career goals are, and you just tick whether you want to go to university, a traineeship, or TAFE, all that sort of thing. So it's all fairly straightforward so far. Now, this is where it gets a little more complex. I'll just take the Year 10 guide. If you're interested in studying courses or doing an OP or that sort of thing, or going to university, this is where you start putting in courses that you're interested in. And, for example, use this guide, so I'll just open up randomly, Bachelor of Aboriginal Health and Wellbeing, for example. I want to do, just got to see what it is. It's a Bachelor of Aboriginal Health and Wellbeing, just stop at the top of this page, page 60. So it really is helpful. Just follow the guide up there, write down what you're interested in the course. The institution, so for example, this is SCU, Southern Cross University, so SCU. What the prerequisites are, and field position, we'll talk about that in a minute. So you just write down the information that actually is here. So for example, if you just go across, it's got the duration, but it's got prerequisites. So you just write that prerequisite, and you'll see most of them are usually just English, but as you go through the various courses. And then field position will be the letters that relate to that, so you just put those down, and we'll work through that. So essentially, choose a number of different courses you may be interested in. What I find is, for those students who may be struggling with making a decision about what you want to do, but if you put a number down, the main thing is we make sure that you're going to cover your prerequisites, because then you've got a choice. We'll give you different subjects that you may be interested in. Okay, so that's that part there. The next step is choose your English, your maths, subject selection using this sheet here. What we try to do is line it up from past experience, what students prefer, and try and give them as many options as they can across those lines. But obviously that does not always work. So what we need, because we may find in this group, for example, I'll choose two subjects, there might be a lot of people who want to do ancient history and German, for example. I do ancient history and EPE. So if that came as one that says you want to do, choose the subject you want to do. So you would circle, for example, EPE on this sheet because you want to do that. But you really want to do ancient history as well, just write it down here. Because what we'll do is when we go to do timetabling about in August, we look at these clashes and then we can work out, what changes we might need to do to the lines to make sure it works the best that we can. Okay? So what we've tried to do is put these in lines, and hopefully most students, the majority of students, will be able to find subjects they like in those lines. But obviously if there's anything that doesn't fit in, just make sure that's not.
Tony, because it's only a small cohort, if there's only 3 people wanting to do EPE, is that going to be excessive? Will they still be able to do that? Or what's going to be the minimum number allowed?
There won't be any minimum number. What may happen is if we need to, we might have a composite 11 and 12. So some of these courses, for example, geography we already have, which should probably be a composite at the moment. Yes, it's one of the problems that we have. We will be offering lots of small classes, really. But the thing, for example, EPE, you need a group to be able to, obviously do the games and sports, but that's where I look at trying to perhaps put in a composite with the year 12s, for example. It's only 3, but hopefully it'll be more than that. But that is one of the difficulties that we have. But one of the things we just have to wear with this cohort is that we will have small classes, which will be nice as a teacher and student in some respects, but some courses such as EPE, for example, they do need the numbers.
We will anyway, because you're the last group. It's going to cause us problems. It's going to cause all schools problems.
That's right.
Not just us, not just Concordia.
So what will happen? So in this group, when you go into year 12, they'll be the only group doing those subjects because we've got a whole heap of new subjects coming in year 11. Right. So we've got to cover it anyway. So yes, it's a bit of a pain for us.
It's a pain for everyone. But all schools are the same. So yes, you guys will be the only ones in year 12 doing your subjects, and then we won't be able to align them with the year 11s because they'll be doing a completely different new lot of subjects.
So you will still offer it regardless if there's only a few children in year 12? Still.
Well, it really depends on the subject.
Depends on the subject. We'll know it'll be over the cohort, all of the students, and we'll know when we get that information in. Yeah.
Yes, best.
But when you're in year 12, you might be compositing then the year 11s or year 11s.
No, you won't be able to.
Won't be able to year 12s because they'll be doing year 11s. When these guys get into 12s, they'll be in different.
Oh, sorry. That's
yes. So.
So do you let us know if that happens, if there's not enough kids in the class, or you just do it and we find out eventually? Or
no, we let you know. What we do is, as soon as we've got year 12 in August, we'll have done the timetables for year 12s and 11s, and then we come back to you so you know, yes, what we can definitely offer and what we can't offer. So then it's being fair to you guys as well.
Can I just ask about German, because a lot of universities, if you pass a language, you get a bonus point.
That's right.
So if there's a clash in what you're just saying, similarly with the EPE, so
I'm just saying that's
like,
example.
would you do it
German
externally through another, like, I don't know, uni or school or something?
You can, and we've done that before. We've got students doing, for example, Indonesian, and through distance education, so we can do that because we don't offer that subject. Or if we've had a clash, we've been able to do that before. But German will most likely be in line with the 12s for next year anyway. So the main thing is put in what you want, so we can make that decision. Yeah. that doesn't matter greatly. It's just that if you, if you could, it doesn't matter. As long as it's written down there.
How do you know what the kids actually want to do?
Well, they should all circle their first preference in these lines.
But if all the kids are looking at line 2 thinking, well, there's nothing there I want to do, I'm just going to circle geography. And what they really want to do is just get
Well,
in.
they'd leave that blank if they don't want they don't have any in that line. And
So
you're
you
right.
don't actually want us to circle something in that.
Well, if there's no subjects they want to
It
do,
doesn't say that not circles. So it's like, if you don't want to do something in the box, don't circle.
well, when we have, see, that's where we have the discussion, so we can work through those when you come in to do the set plans. If that doesn't happen, then we can try and work out what we can do. Yeah, so
Yeah,
I'm
so
hoping-
just don't choose like, I
Yeah, so
see
don't,
what you're saying, line 2, there may be nothing in that.
yeah, so if there's
line,
nothing in that line that you're not interested in, so leave it blank.
Yes.
So when you come in to have the discussions, we can have, we'll know we can work from there.
I was wondering whether the idea was to sort of come down line 2 and
Yeah,
say,
yeah.
okay, we've got to put line 2
So-
in.
Yeah, it really is, because what happens is, for example, let's take line 2, there may be there's 2 subjects here, but they would write it there. It's not, because we've got only small groups, it's not such a big issue for us, because we all meet the 30s, we're all get together to do our set plans, so we'll be able to have those discussions if there's any issues there. And this we complete at the set plan as well, so we can make adjustments there. Okay, so then we'll go through this with you in the set plans, finalise subjects, and just circle yes, got your literacy, numeracy, whether you're going to get QC or AP eligible, bunch of things, so we'll just go through and circle those. And also, if you're interested in skill-based traineeships, we'll put that down, because it's really important that we know that, so we can keep an ear out for those. And if you're interested in doing any courses in TAFE, make sure you put those down. The TAFE courses will have a cut-off point, and it's really important if anyone wants to do a TAFE course that they put their names down, because they'll say to us, please let us know expressions of interest, and we'll put that out to all the students. But if we don't get students put their names in, they'll cancel the courses. So it's really important that if you're interested in TAFE courses, when they put out, ask for expressions of interest, you get those in as soon as possible. Okay. And that's essentially it. We all sign it over the page, and then what we do is we take it, record all the information, and then give you a copy, so you've got a copy to take home. So that's essentially the process. But the main thing is obviously the subjects will work and be as flexible as we can. That's really important that when we have the set plan meetings, we get that sorted. So the meeting procedures will be through Parent Lounge, and that'll open on Monday the 17th. But what I've done is set the set plan meetings to be after the Careers Expo, so people have got a chance to go to the Careers Expo. You've got 3 weeks really to get time to talk to people. I don't know if you could come and see me, that's which is great, but we can sit down and have a good chat about anything that you've got for concerns or that you want to follow up in that time. And borders where you can do phone interviews as well. So it's live on the 17th of July. We start on, it's all at 16 still, it should be 17. You'll have a number of teachers you can choose from, because it's not just me or Ms. Bowen or whoever will do this. A number of teachers have done it before in the past. Sometimes I find students might prefer to go to a particular teacher as well, so it just gives them that option to have someone that they may want to talk to. They'll be in the library from 3:30 to 6:30, so I've got the days there, but if that doesn't match up, if that the times don't meet, just come and we can organise a time and any time to catch up. I can do that or whoever, but that's just so basically we can get everyone booked in. but certainly you can come and see yourself or whoever at a different time. It's not set in concrete, but it's just the easiest way of getting the interview times done. I've got blue there, so blue set plan, so best you can, if you can fill those forms out, and then we can have those discussions about subjects, and we'll send home anything to the boards if need be. So essentially that covers, it's a lot of information there, so essentially I'm open to questions that you'd like to ask, but obviously come and see me if there's anything you want to ask at any time.
Subjects weighted, like for OPs.
Subjects are actually, only weighting that happens is because of the students who choose the subject. So for example, Maths C, well, students who they're in there are already of a higher cohort, so that means that their scores will go up in terms of the OP. Subjects not weighted particularly, it's just the cohort who go into those subjects that cause that to happen. The other thing is, if you're interested in doing a maths course, if you do Maths C, that will actually increase your OP as well as some of the language courses you can get increased if you do the language as well.
If you've got a sound in Maths C, but then got like an A extending from Maths A, yeah, is that no, that's a, no.
Yeah, so what will happen is that probably if that was the same person, hypothetically, that's where they would be. When they go through the OP process, supposedly they will still be at the same level when they do the OP. It's just that if you do Maths C, the only thing is that because it's already the high-end students doing it, it may or may not boost you a little bit, but supposedly, or the QCAA line is they should end up being the same. The QCS test should pick that up too.
Yeah, that's why the QCS test is important, in that those students who are at that more advanced level of maths and science get the higher scores, and that feeds into their OP results.
Any other questions? So, there's a lot of homework there for everyone. But please, the main thing is have those conversations with parents, students, teachers, whoever you need to talk to, and book your set plan interview in. And obviously, we're quite aware that it's always, because it's a smaller cohort, we have to wear it a bit and see what we can do to make sure everyone's got their subjects they want to do. Okay. That's it. Thank you very much for coming. We appreciate the time. But please come see me if there's any questions or anything else you want to.